Structure is in the way classrooms are organized.
Yeah,
structure
right.
is in the way society is organized. Structure is in the way that we organize the rules of the road.
Right.
All those things are structural.
And
they shape behavior, right? They shape the pattern of behavior. And so we want to pay attention to those structures.
When you want to see them.
You want to see them. Yeah, first and foremost, you want to get them not hidden, And then there's one more thing that's underneath structures, and this is where the rubber meets the road kind of thing, and that's called mental models.
Right.
And that's the crux of the whole thing, which is that our mental models are the thing that roll up into structures. The reason that things are structured the way they are is because of the way we think about them. We think they're a certain way, so we structure things in that way. And then those structures lead to patterns, and those patterns lead to events or behaviors or situations or surface level stuff.
And your classic example of that was classroom design.
Yeah. I mean, a classic example is you've got a classroom that's, you've got the teacher up front and you've got, rows of students sitting, stadium style. Mm-hmm. Well, that structure, which we pay a lot of money to build a really fancy classroom with, stuff up front, that structure is based on what our mental model of how learning happens.
Right.
Now, the question is that really the best way that learning happens, where this person talks and these people mostly listen? Well, we know, for example, that there's more neurons hooked up to the hands and the eyes than and the tongue than the rest of your body, right? So if you really want to speak into the brain, the ears are kind of not the best way to access the brain. And yet this whole structure is based on a mental model of how learning happens. What we'd probably want to do if we were going to really build a classroom or, a learning environment is have it be completely modular. Every single surface, every single wall would be whiteboard so people can use their hands and Post-it notes and visual and kids can be up at the board drawing, visualizing, right? Little pods of kids. And then you'd have desks or tables that could be modularized, so you could have them be separate.
Yep.
Or you could have them all be together into one big one,
Well, yeah.
Or you could have them be in a circle, or you could have them be in this format, and you could modularly adapt the room to the many different ways that we can learn.
Yes.
I'm not even sure you'd have chairs. You'd have maybe some balls for people to sit bouncy balls or something like that. Some kind of sitting device for when people want to sit, but people could sit and stand and move around because movement's so important. And, a lot of the behavioral problems we're seeing in schools today is because we're forcing young children to sit for hours and hours and hours. And I mean, that's just literally a mental model that leads to structure, that leads to pattern behavior. And then we're surprised when we're like, why are we having behavioral problems? Well, because you're making them sit all day.
Why are they antsy?
Why are they antsy?
Not focused?
Exactly.